Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Makers on Tap, the podcast where makerspace directors drink and talk about making stuff and maker culture. How's it going, you guys?
It is going good.
It's been too long.
Right?
There's a dog hair in my beer glass.
I mean,
that's really a metaphor for this entire day, I think.
You want to talk about it? This is the place.
This is the time.
No, I was on the Dadcast once. It didn't go well.
Ooh. I mean, that aside, speaking to a dad, I am definitely going to be needing to place an order for a certain brand of cookies, and buying them in bulk.
I have over 100 boxes of cookies right now. So anything you want.
So have you not had the idea to take them straight to a dispensary, sit outside of a dispensary and try and do that?
So the Girl Scout sit-in locations are like a coveted thing, and I'm not messing with it. It's not my thing, you know.
Fair enough,
but it's a great idea. You're not wrong.
I feel like it. You just they got to spend cash anyways, so they most likely got some left over. So you just have them sit out right next to it. So all of those
they don't
girls
have anything left over in Illinois. You know that.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Oh, how you been doing, Aaron?
Busy.
Yeah?
Yep.
You've been pretty busy working on a lot of different projects, because it seems like the Stream Deck's been going really well, but it seems like you've been really working on that.
Yeah. I was actually, late getting onto the computer tonight because I was redoing a lot of it. And we can, I don't know if you want to get into that right now, but I can totally get into it. I
mean, we don't got anything planned.
All right. So for those who haven't been following along on Twitter, I'm working on setting up a live stream setup in my basement in my new workshop. So I want to start doing weekly maker streams because I'm seeing a very big lack in maker streams on Twitch. It's a lot of, handcrafts, a lot of knitting, Legos, stuff like that. But not a whole lot of stuff that we do.
I would absolutely agree with you.
So I want to start doing that. And after visiting Tim over at TH3D and seeing his amazing streaming setup, I got awful jealous at his Elegoo, no, not Elegoo. What is it? Elgato. The Elgato Stream Deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing was super slick, but it's also $160.
I mean, for that, you're getting, because he had the, I think he had this 8x8, or is it the 16x16? Anyways, it was a nice thing, and then it also does a whole bunch. It will display all the things that you want it to do, and it's also got a little bit cool functionality built into it with certain apps. But is it a little expensive? Yes.
Yeah, for
just a tad for how we would use it.
Right. Which is just a macro pad essentially. All I want it to do is just to switch my OBS scenes without me swapping my desktop, window over and doing it. So I'm working on a DIY Stream Deck that's based off an Arduino Leonardo and a 3.5-inch touchscreen. And it's been a bit of a journey with that. I started with an Arduino Mega and a 3.2-inch touchscreen. Got all the buttons. I got all the code pretty much done. I was just about ready to wrap up the code portion. In the library I wanted to use, which will output actual keyboard presses, it's only compatible on the Atmel 32UF boards, which is only chips, which is only on the Arduino Leonardo and the Arduino Micro. So I had to swap out the entire board underneath. And then I went ahead and I improved on the touchscreen. The one I had bought required some adapter board in between the Arduino and the touchscreen.
Mm-hmm.
And that made it kind of awkward. It was very much double cantilevered, and there was no way to support it all. So everything was slanted, and I was going to have to design some supports. This new one, it's essentially a shield for the Arduino Leonardo, which is the same footprint and pin out of the Uno, and the pins come directly out of the screen for the shield. So everything's nice and tight and rigid, and also a lot thinner now. So, but now the Leonardo, I'm finding out, is a lot slower to drive the LCD. So I'm kind of trying to redo the UI so it's much simpler and quicker to draw for a slower microcontroller. So I'm working on that currently. But I'm getting close. Yeah, that's why I was late, because I made a little bit of a breakthrough in the UI and how to simplify it and look nice. So I was trying to wrap up that thought so I wouldn't forget it overnight.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Also been setting up my live stream setup, but we can talk about that later. I want to hog everything.
Yes, you do.
You're good. You're good.
Well, in that case. Yeah, so I've been putting a lot of work into getting my workshop set up, but set up in a way that's kind of streaming first, from a streaming perspective. How can I orient everything? I have 2 workbenches. I have the my M-Blazer Core laser cutter. I've got my 3D printer. I've got a bench that I'm going to do a soldering setup on. I've got the mini mill over in the corner, and I'm planning on building the print NC router, and I've got some space for that down there now too. But how do I orient everything so that my new webcam can capture at least most of it, and so people can see me putzing around working on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I've been spending a lot of time working on that. I ended up buying one of those fancy USB PCIe cards for my desktop.
Yep.
Where it's got a dedicated USB controller for each port.
Which is phenomenal for the amount of things that you're going to plug into it, yeah.
Yes. So that's been working out really well. I just got OBS set up on it. I've got VMware Player with Windows 10 VM for Fusion, and that seems to work all right so far. I haven't tweaked it yet. Yeah. I haven't tweaked with the display GPU, the video RAM stuff yet. It's still at the 128 megabyte default.
Okay.
From what I've seen, I think you can push it to 512.
In Windows as a host, you can push it to 768. I don't know about Linux as a host.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. But even with the base settings, it works all right. It's usable. It's definitely a little choppy. Even in the basic graphics mode. It's a little choppy. But it's good enough for now. It's usable for me for now. But I definitely want to spend some time and tweak it. If I can't get the way I want, I think I'm just going to dual boot this recording desktop, which I only use one night a week, and then run Fusion on this and this remote desktop into it from Linux. Because I want to keep everything on Linux on my streaming PC so I can then plug it into OBS and stuff. So,
I mean, that scene, I love every time that you want to fight the odds, dude. There's so many easier ways to do it, but you just fighting that Linux. You are the guy. There's a meme that I used to share way back in the day where is this just this dude in the middle of a square, and he's just holding a sign, and it just says Linux is the superior OS, and he's there alone, but there are 2 cops right next to him, and that's it. And it's just, you are this guy. You are the guy protesting on your own that Linux is the superior OS, and you will fight everything for that. And dude, more power to you.
I will tell you that I have spent 10 years trying to find a good CAD solution for exactly what you were trying to do. And the 100% answer is dual boot your computer. Because the remote desktop option ends up being choppy, and when you were trying to do CAD and you need to do fine detail work, clicking on a point, remote desktop does not cut it at all. And yeah, that is the answer, is dual boot your computer, and I hate it. But,
yeah, but this isn't necessarily for like my primary work. Like this is not even my primary workstation. This is for the stream. So it's like, so I guess my focus for the stream is a weekly excuse to work on like goofy shit projects that I will never do on my own because they're unproductive. But if helping me build an audience on stream, then it gives me, a secondary use for doing silly stuff.
What is going to be your normal CAD workstation then?
Oh, probably a new laptop.
Okay. Like the other night when you saw me flipping back and forth from VirtualBox back into Windows, that is why I bought that laptop.
That was also awful neat.
That is 100% why I bought that laptop, because I can dedicate 16 gigs of RAM and 4 processors to that VM in Ubuntu, which is everything I would ever need to do Ubuntu, and still have plenty of resources to run Fusion on my Windows side. And like, I know you don't want to run Windows as the host OS. You would rather that be your secondary bitch OS. But when it comes to needing video things, you want the video things on your host, never your VM. It doesn't work. Even when you're paying lots of money for your virtualization, I've tried really hard. Really, really hard. I hope you beat me. I hope you find it. I hope you do, because then I will have found it too, and that will make me very happy. Like, I really wanted Fusion on the browser to be a thing. Like, that was always the answer, right? Fusion on the browser is going to fix the problem, and Fusion on the browser sucks. And what is the other one? What's the other browser CAD?
Onshape.
Onshape's just insanely expensive, and I don't like it. But like, if you want to not have all of your projects public, it's kind of like the GitHub model. Like, you can have like 2 public project or 2 private projects, and you're limited in the amount of components they can have. So if you have like fasteners in it, you're just screwed because it's like 25 components. But it's really expensive. I can't remember how much it is now, but it's prohibitive for somebody to use it for hobby. Like,
yeah.
So
what have you two been up to?
Oh, you go first, man.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm always talking, dude. I'm always like, there's not a time whenever
you're never here.
Oh, fuck off!
I haven't done anything cool in weeks. I have been, I would love to say that like I've made major progress on the 4x8, but I haven't, because I keep screwing parts up, and like half of the gantry is built, and like the mirrored side, for some reason, the bolt holes will never line up. I don't know if I'm dropping steps on my CNC or if the model's wrong or what. It is driving me up a wall. I've made those parts so many times, and they're so intricate, and like they have multiple side drills on them that have to... This is why I put this off for so long, and it's making me angry, and I just want to get it done. It's looking like I'm going to take a couple weeks off of work to just hammer it out. But I'm frustrated.
Okay. So this is what I had to do for one of my costumes, was like, because I'm actually having trouble with this as well. I had to break it down into chunks. Fucking listen to one of our earlier podcasts, Eating Elephants. What's the biggest chunk that or what's the smallest chunk that you can accomplish right now?
I'm stuck. I can't accomplish anything. I could move forward on the Z and X axis, but I don't want to move forward on those until I see the gantry move. because I might still need to make changes on those based on the things that I've had to do with the gantry. So really the next step I need to do is I need to assemble the gantry components as they sit, and I think what I'm going to have to do is transfer punch these side drills into the other. It's like the gantry upright plate, and then there's another plate that bolts onto it 90 degrees that holds the trucks for the profile rails. Okay. And it's these side drills that aren't lining up properly with so either my drill jig is wrong, which it's not because it worked fine on the other one, or this other part just keeps coming out wrong. And I've sat and I've thought about the right way to do this, and I'm debating on either remaking a drill jig with the router that is like in the same orientation. So if there is some sort of weird thing happening with my router that's creating this offset, it should translate into the drill jig, and then my holes should line up and everything should be okay. Or use the part to transfer punch, which doesn't necessarily work because it might not be centered in the way I need it to. I don't know. I'm frustrated with it. There's a bunch of possibilities of what could be going wrong, and I haven't had the time to have the patience to sit down and figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's been the real problem. So. That's been the main thing I've been working on, or like stressing over and like watching. And there's like in the meantime where I could be building the print NC in parallel with this, but I'm now like stuck on this because there's all kinds of transfer drill things that have to happen with the print NC, and now I'm like stuck in my head. Like, well, maybe I'll screw that up too. I don't want to screw that up. I want to get that right. So,
I mean, yeah, but like, you kind of got to, like,
yeah, I know.
Like, not forcing, but like,
well, I have to.
You just gotta try.
I have to, because at some point, the router that I'm cutting all this stuff on is going to stop working, and that's going to be a problem. So, because I need that. So, but, yeah, I'm going to have some time coming up here that's going to be all me to wrap this specific project up and some other projects up. So, it's going to come. It's just, the last couple of weeks have been nuts. So.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like, just to have the time to be able to sit down and do that is such a luxury that you take for granted sometimes. Because, like, what I would give to be able to have, like, a full day to be able to tackle, like, a lot of these projects.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd just be weird. I don't know what I would do with that.
Right?
Whenever I get, like, a surprise day off, it's usually, like, very hard to be productive. Because you're used to working under these constrained time schedules.
Yeah.
And then, like, one day I had, like, so we had Martin Luther King Day off at work, and I didn't realize that because I'm not great at, like, following calendars. So I dropped my daughter off at my mom's, got to work, and, like, all the gates were closed. And I'm like, why they got the gates closed? So, like, I scan my badge, go in, nobody's in the parking lot, and, like, this giant parking lot just empty. I'm like, huh. Well, maybe I'm just early. Text my buddy, he's like, oh no, we have it off. Like, so I have 8 whole hours of, like, no kid, no wife, like, no job. I could just do whatever. Then I went ahead and wasted most of it at the space trying to get a live stream set up.
And that's
there's like all the pressure of, like, I need to be productive because I've got all this free time, and I always complain about free time. Then it just...
But like at the same time, okay, this has actually been the biggest struggle for me lately, is I have spent so much time being productive and so much time working that when I do get those big blocks of time, I just go to sleep. Or like, I just sit down on the couch and I watch a movie. And we've talked about this before, but burnout's a thing. Yep. And I am well into it. And giving yourself a break is not only a good idea, but I think it's required for us and like people like us that just are constantly pushing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm well into the, like, I need to take 4 days and just go have an adventure somewhere that's not here, that I can't touch a computer or a machine and get unburnt.
Well, and it's like, are you guys even in? Because like I'm not bringing too much to Murph, but are you guys starting to get Con Crunch for Murph?
That started in December.
Yeah,
kind of, and I haven't even started.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm waiting on my printer kit to come. I was hoping to have that done. So Kyle says it's shipping next week. So
I've had the retail parts for the tool changers since Christmas, and I haven't done those. And we haven't started on the belt. That's not happening now because the timelines are too tight. The lead times for the parts are past. Like, it's not possible to get the parts in time now. So
that's fine.
Well, I thought the belt was just not available. That was just not a thing that we were going to do.
I mean, we could still do it, but I have done a lot of research since we started talking about it in just like feasibility. And if we wanted to do the project that we talked about doing, where we open source this thing and looked at making part kits or just plate kits or components, there's some real concerns with patent violation. And it's been brought up to me by multiple parties now. And they're people that I trust. That they wouldn't bring up frivolous things to us. And they bring it up in the sense of, we aren't doing this because of this. And it's like, oh.
Which is disappointing.
It is. It's so disappointing. And I don't know the right way to deal with it. What I did find out is, even if we order 10 belts at a time, the cost doesn't drop. So,
damn.
When you the second you decide that you're in for a belt printer, just the belt alone, you've bought an Ender 3. So,
yeah,
it's a commitment for anybody, and then it's a commitment for us because we've never built a belt printer. So, that's a significant financial outlay for a chance. And if we do what we plan to do, it's a significant outlay for a whole bunch of us on a chance. So, yeah. I don't know. It's still something I very much want to do.
I mean, it's definitely fun. Like,
I'm trying to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want to make a bunch of promises that we can't keep.
Right.
That's the last thing I want to do. And I don't want to get sued because we made a bunch of promises. I'm less worried about that.
That's why we need an LLC. Then it's just like...
just wash your hands of it.
That's the whole point, man. You just dump it.
$200 and you can wash your hands of the whole thing.
I mean...
It's the truth. That's why. Yeah, that's why I have an LLC. So if I break something real bad, it's out. Sorry, guys.
We just got to call it Well, we're just gonna call it like MOT like _01 is the LLC name.
Please.
Few years later, we're to 05, and everyone's like, "How bad are you screwing up?" Well,
exactly.
Look, you heard of this thing called Apple?
We're taking chances and we're taking names.
That way, we maintain the brand while staying unique.
Yeah,
I got this great idea. It's called OLED. I'm gonna make one. Oh man.
Oh no. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do before Murph, and I'm two of the things I think are still totally feasible. And neither of them are the belt printer. But there's still, I think there's still alternative belt materials out there.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I have to think that there's not only like 2 suppliers in the world. Like,
well, for the welded stainless steel belts, there really is like 2 suppliers in the world. If we did the shim stock route, they do get way cheaper. They're just harder to build.
Sure.
And I'm not really against that route either. Maybe we should just do that. And this is why I haven't built. I get like up, and I'm like, we should just do this, and then I go like down, like no.
I mean, I got like that when I kind of was on Instagram today and said that people are like, no, that's going to be way too hard to do, and I'm like, oh shit, what have I done?
What was that? Oh, with the fast LED thing?
No, not with fast LED. That I'm actually pretty hopeful on. I'm actually like getting excited to do electronics again, so I even bought myself some breadboards and like DuPonts and all that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like actually gonna try and do this and see if I can get it to work. Fast LED, like literally, it sounds like Brian just used a 8266 and was able to just upload fast LED onto it and then do a matrix, and it was totally cool. Everything that I'm looking at, what I need is probably about size of an Uno, or I'm going to try the Illy-Glue knockoff Uno and see if that works, because as I've learned, I have an Illy-Glue resin printer, and boy, is it knocking out stuff like I did not expect it to. The thing that sucked the most was I was running it so much, I actually ran out of resin during this last print, so it only printed about half of it.
Oh, no. Does it have a resin sensor?
No, it does not have a resin sensor. So that's something I learned.
That's a high point of the Prusa, is that, one, at the beginning of the print, it tells you if there's enough resin in the vat to print.
Does it really?
And if you get low, it will pull off and back up and be like, hey, you need to refill the vat. And then go through, yeah.
That's actually pretty useful for what happened, because it literally got about halfway, but what I'm printing of, it did 2.5 of those in what I had poured in there currently. So I'm learning based off that. So, I mean, regardless, that's pretty impressive, and I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna try out their knockoff Uno and see how that actually turns out, because apparently a lot of people were using that in order to program the specific band that I have. So hopefully that works. But no, I was talking about something completely different, than you got me on that.
What are you making with all these LEDs?
So I am trying to make a kind of from scratch collar piece from Cyberpunk. So all the promotional art and concept art for Cyberpunk 2077 has this collar that the character V is wearing, and it kind of is glowing, and it just looks super fucking cool. It's definitely like an accessory that a Cyberpunk would wear. It's just a LED around your face. And so most of the people that have been doing this have either been putting in like strip LEDs and just having them like rotate color or just stay on one color and that's it, or even putting a panel behind it and diffusing it and that's it. But I actually wanted to have some fun with it, so I wanted to eventually be able to do animations with that thing and be able to do kind of cool stuff like that. But this is kind of like my first dive into that area of working on like programmable LEDs and Unos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely learning a lot right now. And it's in the middle of when I'm working on like 3 other different projects right now because, boy, this weekend was like... we have like a convention coming up that we're really excited for, and like we're trying to like get hyped about it, but all 3 of us worked on our projects this weekend, and it was nothing but like headache after headache with each one of us because it was just like everybody was hitting a wall with all their projects. But it's like 2.5 weeks away at this point. Like it's coming up. So we should be getting close, and like I have a coat and I have a partially painted gun, and that's about it. And I will like the problem is that I'm doing this all from my head. Like this is an original character from the Cyberpunk universe that I think would live there. And so to take that concept in my head and then translate it to reality, like even to the gun I'm doing is completely original concept design, is very difficult.
And you gave yourself a really tight timeline to create an original character.
I mean, I'd had this for a little
sadists, aren't we?
Yeah. No, we definitely are. Like I put this in the fucking in our group chat on Slack, and I was like, "What would you guys use to do this?" And Joe like literally looked at me. He was like, "You plan to do this in 3 weeks?" And I was like, "Yes." And he goes, "Good luck." I was like, I mean, you're not wrong. And then I'm like driving home after axe throwing, and I'm like, fuck, I really do need to work on this like all this week in order to actually get this done, don't I? Like,
yeah, it felt very much like Massive.
Right? It's, oh man. I'm just like, I'm hoping it gets done. I'm hoping it looks good. We're certainly going to see.
Man. Speaking of Massive.
Oh, no, that's what it was. You asked me what I was like talking about online. So, no, I got discouraged online, not because of the board for the lights. I got discouraged online because of the T-Rex. I wanted to... There was a possibility. We saw somebody put out a design for the... who makes these? Venlo? They're Raptor series printers. Somebody came out with a Hermes mount for that, or Hemera mount for that, and I was like super excited because I was like, oh, those are pretty close heads, and I like shot them a message on Instagram. I was like, hey, like y'all possibly releasing the files for that to be able to put it on the T-Rex, and they're like, nope, too different. It's got IDEX. We're not doing that, and it's like, shoot, okay, so never mind, I'm not getting that easily. So
did he say that they're not doing it at all, or that one wouldn't work?
No, I straight up asked, I was like, do you guys have any plans to actually develop for the T-Rex? And he goes, no, it's too difficult, too many problems with the IDEX and everything like that.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
I mean, if we get one working on it, there's no reason why we couldn't get 2 working on it. Like,
yeah, it might just close the build area down a little bit if you're using IDEX.
Right.
And that seems like an acceptable loss. You know, lose 10 to 15 millimeters in the X direction.
Right.
Know? Like, whatever.
I don't think it would cause that much of an issue, but yeah, he said specifically that they were not going to be developing for the T-Rex. So whatever I do, I'm going to have to do on my own.
Well, that just gives me fuel for the fire.
I mean, especially if we know certain people who are excited for us to potentially do it. So,
yep.
I'm willing for mine to be a candidate. We'll see what happens. I literally
see. That's the
hard
part. Is finding somebody who is willing to let somebody perform surgery on their printer. Somebody being me.
I mean, I will. Do you know how much CBD or not CBD? That too.
Yes, we do. Actually, you just let us know.
What's the CBS? Do you know how much CBS I have over here that I'll let you drink? And you can like have all of that if you want to come over here and work on the printer. I literally just got my
breakfast stout when I'm working on printers. I need Red Bull when I'm working on printers.
I mean, that's fair.
It's different. Different minds. You want anything done, don't give me beer.
Yeah. I finally got those Molex connectors and RJ connectors. So those finally came in the mail today, and I'm really excited. So I think I legitimately have everything except the printed mount ready.
That's the hardest part, so, that figures. We should have been doing that.
I mean, like, I just need to sit down and actually look for a model online and see if we maybe can find one.
Nah. Yeah, if we can find a model of the base head, I can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll tell you how I did the Chimera head for the Mini and the Lulzbot. Was I took the original tool head, and I took a Chimera model, and I put a axis through the nozzle holes of both of them, and I aligned them. And then I hid all of the mount structure for the original head, and I said, all right, I have to make a mount that fits in that window. And then I went to modeling, and that made everything work. I didn't have IDEX concerns, and I was lucky enough that the Chimera was smaller than the original head, so I didn't have build space concerns for that. Whereas the Chimera is actually larger than the T-Rex head. So there is a concern there. I'm not that worried about it, though, because we're not leveling with the nozzle. So, like, that was the big problem with the Mini and the Taz 6 was you're utilizing the nozzle as a probe. So that center point has to stay the same, or you have to change a whole bunch of stuff in firmware. And I really didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be a out of the box experience, and I succeeded with that. So I think we can do it. I'm not that concerned. I think it'll be all right. I said think. I didn't say guarantee.
No, it's going to be an experience. That's for sure.
It's got to work better than the Sigmas.
You've set an extremely high bar.
I've actually printed probably 300 hours on the Sigma over the last 2 weeks. And when that thing works, boy, does it work. The prints are phenomenal. But every print, I have to sit there and watch it lay down the skirt and manually level it out, because the leveling algorithm is garbage, and the probe algorithm that it does, where it just does a Z check, is garbage. It completely changes every time. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
So, you're re-leveling the bed manually every print on something that has assisted leveling and should do that for you. But when you get it right, the prints are phenomenal. All those prints I brought for Travis the other night with the Matsumoto build, all the red was printed on the Sigma. I don't know if you looked at those parts, but those are gorgeous, gorgeous prints.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna reprint a bunch of stuff on the Sigma just so it's a consistent quality, but I am moving a couple of the parts to the Prusa Mini this week, because the slicer that Sigma uses is their own version of Cura, and it is the worst trash slicer I've ever experienced. To rotate a part, you rotate it, and it's ka-chunk, 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 and then you just sit there and watch it for a second while it thinks about where the part's going to end up, and then It might float like 6 feet to the left real quick. Jeez. Just to move out of the way. Yeah, I don't know if you needed it there. It's so slow and so chuggy. But they have, all this stuff built in to deal with their IDEX.
Yeah.
They have simplified plugins that I haven't dealt with yet. I don't know. I'm going to have to do it because it's just garbage. There's this one part that it keeps failing because Kira's support that it's generating for it isn't right. And I can't change it because they hid all the support options and they're hidden deep enough that I can't break them out like I should be able to in literally any other version of Kira. I hate you, Sigma. So much. I didn't even pay for that printer and I still hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much. What are you up to, Aaron? You still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're so quiet.
I got nothing to add to the IDEX discussion.
Oh, well, you got things to add about shitty printers.
That's damn sure.
I'm so excited for your Elite Machines printer.
Me too.
Oh. Things I'm excited about with printers. We got selected to be a dataless beta tester.
Yeah.
So excited.
So whose house is it going to?
Mine. So excited. So excited.
You are the furthest away.
So excited.
We're going to be rotating it. But yes.
Well, okay. So I am the furthest away. But the last time you beta tested printing things, you were like, I don't want to waste plastic. So I didn't print anything this week. Aaron.
Talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
When the heck did I do that?
Pathio. I don't want to waste plastic, so I didn't test this version. I don't want to contribute to the landfill waste.
I'll allow it. We could centrally host the dataless at my house, and then we can just hang out more often.
No. I have so many prints lined up for that.
Screw you guys, I'm an introvert.
Seriously though, we can rotate it, and that will be a really good test to see if the results are consistent or if it's user based. That will be fun to see.
Yeah.
I think that would be very valuable for Project Red to have 3 users use the same printer, same slicing settings, and just be like, man, it would be such a cool data point to see. Do we get consistent results? Is it the printer? Is it the user? Is it the slicer?
Yeah.
I'm excited about it though. Joe's been posting pictures of prints that he's doing with his alpha units, and just phenomenal prints
they look real good
at insane speeds. Did you see the print speeds that he's using for those?
Yeah, that one of the building with the staircase,
100 to 120 millimeters per second.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
That's what I print when I want my prints to look garbage.
When I want mom spaghetti, that's what I print at.
Yes.
When my palms are sweaty.
Why is that coming up so much? I feel like there's some relevant social thing.
He actually just performed at the what is it, at the Oscars tonight. It was really weird.
He performed that song?
Yeah, he performed that song at the Oscars tonight.
Huh. I respect it.
I mean, it flowed in what it was for. It was for demonstrating in how songs can make a movie, but also a movie can make a song. And so they were going through different stuff that does that, obviously Rocky and some of the other just well-known classics, Breakfast Club, all that kind of stuff. And so Like, they go through all those, and then, like, he comes out and does that, and I was like, yeah, you really can't, like, think of that without thinking of 8 Mile. Like,
nope.
They're pretty synonymous.
You know what other song really makes the movie, and the movie makes the song?
It's bad that I know exactly what you're talking about, but yes. I was going to go the entire soundtrack to Tron, because yes, I still do listen to that, even though it doesn't seem like you should.
Almost every day.
Right? Do I want to listen to the instrumentals of Daft Punk? You're damn right I do.
Yeah. All the time. Constantly. My kids ask to listen to that soundtrack because I listen to it so much.
You know what other soundtrack is really good, though, and, like, really good for, like, when you're sitting down and working and, like, modeling and shit? Fucking Pacific Rim.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say Deus Machina. But
oh, dude.
I'm going to have to check that out. Pacific Rim soundtrack.
Yeah.
Where is your camera going?
I think it's falling down. I got a new monitor, so everything's different now. Alright, I'm checking that out.
I've sent you like 2 soundtrack lists that you need to listen to this week.
What was the other one I was gonna say? Oh, every time we talk about movie scores, I think about the time you were telling me about your friend who was complaining that Avengers didn't have a proper score.
No, so how it was worded was, and I absolutely disagree with this, but I'm going to say how he worded it. Avengers doesn't have a memorable sound to tell you it's Avengers.
Oh, God, that's so wrong.
And he was trying to, like...
Even at the time, it was.
Yeah, no, even at the time that he said this, because he kept quoting, he's like, you obviously have the da-na, da-na, like from Jaws, you have da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You have that from Star Wars, like, you have all these things. He goes, you can't do that with Avengers. And I was like, bullshit. And I started humming off Avengers. And he's like, that's just you. You can't do that. And I go, I went and, like, told this to Joe and, like, some of the guys in the makerspace. I was like, you guys believe this? And he's like, fuck no.
Like, the Avengers score, like, gives you chills, like, immediately. It's like, I'm gonna go save the world! Like,
dude, that's like the ultimate workout track. Like, workout to, like, the Avengers theme.
Okay. I would have to work out, but okay.
I mean, go climbing. You still have your membership, don't you?
I have a 10 pass that I've used one of.
Oh, fair enough.
Remember how we were talking about how I have no time to do any of the things I want? No. Climbing falls into that. As is backflip training. I'm going to get a standing backflip this year, though. I'm on my way. I gotta stop drinking mumble juice.
Mumble juice?
That's the beer I'm drinking. It's got a great name. Look.
Oh, no shit. It's actually... Okay. I'm for it.
Mumble juice. And it's got the Beetlejuice worms on the can.
Yes. Oh, man. No.
What else we got? It's been like 2 weeks since we talked, but like not really. Because we've been hanging out a lot, but we haven't recorded much.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The times that, like, while we were not recording, you guys were pretty much over at my house both weekends, I think.
Yeah.
Like, but no, for the most part, it's been like, for me, it's been costumes and work, and then just running the shit out of this L glue.
Trying to think what else I'm like super jazzed about right now.
Oh, I'm super jazzed about something.
Why?
Oh,
is it jazz?
I pinged. No.
Did you get saxophone?
I pinged Chris today in Slack. I had the coolest idea because I was setting up my OBS stuff.
Yep.
On my streaming desktop, and to get all my stream elements overlays in, like it's a browser source, and it was like spinning up a Chrome process for every browser source. So like after like just 2 or 3, my entire CPU is at 100%.
Yeah.
So it's way too much. Then it got me thinking, how can I offload the overlay, the stream overlay? I'm like, well, I could do like something like static, or maybe I can run something on my local PC that does it. But I've had this whole idea with my stream workshop that I was going to have a bunch of stuff behind me, like on a wall, that's like you can interact with on the Twitch chat. So you can do like some sort of chat command and like activate something on the back wall. So then it becomes like you're interacting with the actual stream itself.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't I just make an IRL overlay where I'll have like, the viewer count, latest subscriber, latest donation, like all the basic major stuff, like up on a wall behind me, like on a LED marquee, or like when someone subscribes, confetti shoots out at me. Or
I
like,
subscribe constantly just so I could shoot things at you.
Literally anything, like make it, because like that was my entire thing with this project was I watched there's another maker stream called like Factory 424 or something like that.
What?
And he
what? Motherfucker.
I linked it to you, dude. It's the guy who builds little robots for his like workshop, and Twitch chat can purchase ping pong balls.
Hate him.
And they launch ping pong balls around his workshop. So and so like I saw that one night, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want to do with my stream, like that sort of interactivity. So I've been trying to plan that out, but now I'm like, I could just extend that to an overlay and just like not even have an overlay like on my stream. It's literally just everything behind me is the overlay.
I mean,
and I think that'd be a fun project. Yeah.
Depending on your like refresh and where it's pulling from, like it's not that hard of a thing to do.
Yeah, I've already taken a peek at like the Twitch API stuff, and it's really simple to get started with it.
I just can't wait until I can watch your stream and make random emails to like subscribe to you from, but at key points that are going to fuck with you. That's going to be great. Thank you.
Having like the solder station open and like, all right, I gotta really connect these last two wires. He's like, cannon goes off.
he's like soldering little like really fine pitch processors, and he's like, oh man, I'm getting shaky and I'm tired.
Fuck. You just need a follow command that's just the duck from Untitled Goose Game quacking.
Honk.
Honk. Honk.
I do need to add that, but make it really loud so it just disrupts my train of thought.
Right. Oh man.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. Yes. I'm thinking of doing something like a Raspberry Pi as like the main server that, because actually like the Twitch API, Twitch chat's actually an IRC server, if you didn't know that.
I believe I knew that, because I believe I was trying to do something with it once. But yeah, no, really Twitch in general is just left over from Justin TV, which was that exactly. So I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, so all Twitch bots are just IRC users, and they just watch the IRC chat. And then when you see an exclamation point, then it reads in whatever comes after it and checks for a command and then runs a thing. So I would just have, I was thinking about mounting like a Raspberry Pi in the back, having it on Nebula so I can just easily just like push stuff to it, wherever I'm at. Then have it connected to like maybe an Arduino Mega. Then having the Arduino Mega handle like all the actual hardware control stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a way that what would be the best way to properly abstract it out, because there's no way that I'll be able to scale the 26 whatever GPIO pins of a Raspberry Pi. But if I can send some sort of serial command to the Mega, then I've greatly expanded all of the potential GPIOs I have. Then I can just do like 2 megas on 2 USB ports on the Pi, and then kind of maybe just go from there.
Can you just have it?
Go ahead.
What? Can you just have it as
I was
like...
going to completely change everything, so go ahead.
Oh. I was just saying, can you just have it as like a Wi-Fi network and it just sends a packet over to tell it the values and whatnot, and then it just reads that rather than having to send it serial?
Yeah, but Wi-Fi is very unreliable.
Sure.
Especially Wi-Fi and a
is.
Pi. I'll tell you.
There's a lot of overhead when you have a hardware connection.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just thinking you could like use a lot smaller and not have to do a meg on each one, and then you could just have each one of them have a device of their own and just drive it like that.
So I think most of the things I'm going to be doing aren't going to be like wire heavy, more like just trigger the thing.
Okay.
Type of thing. So I still need to work that part out. So I want to simplify that and scale it out. Like maybe it's just an I2C thing where I just have the Pi send something out, then I have a bus, and then everything gets on the I2C bus. Because with that, you can get like a bunch of devices on it.
Yeah.
Then maybe like each device then becomes a micro, like an Arduino Micro or a Nano or an Uno, and then it just, if this pin goes high, then run my routine. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Gotta work that out still, but that's kind of my current idea.
Joe, what were you going to say?
Well, Aaron brought up Nebula. And I just wanted to say congratulations to our one friend who's full-time Nebula now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go you, Ryan. Change the interwebs.
Man, I really hope that catches on a lot more. And that, like, because it's so fucking cool.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I need to go to sleep. I was really hoping to like get some work done tonight, but this mumble just ruined that for me, so I need to go to sleep.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right. Well, you started this up. You want to close it out, Aaron?
I can.
Keep making stuff.
This is the end of the podcast.
Have a good one.
I can't really go first. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, there's an order to things, and you're fucking with the order.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for listening to such a fucking great podcast.
There you go.
We really love each other here. And you know what? If you want to see us love each other more, go on our social media and follow us because we get real sassy on there and we love it. So follow us on social. Guess what? We're posting weekly now on YouTube as well. We finally got that working.
Yeah.
Is the actual post videos going to come out? Yeah, at some point. Guess what? I don't know when. I'm really working on it. It's happening. But guess what? I really don't like shutting my computer down for 3 days to let all of those fucking render at the same time. There's probably a better process. Do I know of it? No. But it's going to come out. Don't worry about it. So, with that being said, thank you for listening to this week. And this is...
Makers on Tap.
This is the actual end of the podcast.
Keep making stuff, guys. Chris got all fired up, and I love it.
Right at the end.
Later. Yeah. Yeah, you are.